It's a beautiful Sunday morning for a cemetery walk. This morning we are in Ocala, Florida, and this is the historic Evergreen Cemetery. It started in 1850, first public burial ground for Ocala. Graves of those who founded the county seat, others during its early years, and Confederate and Union veterans of the Civil War. A couple Confederate flags here. S.J. McAteer, 1836 to 1915, and William, 1831 to 1909. Now this looks like a really interesting cemetery. There are a lot of Confederate flags out here, a lot of Civil War veterans. What an interesting place. This place is pretty large, and I'm actually here today to add some photos for Find a Grave. Because if you're anything like me, and if you're on this channel, you probably are, if you like to visit cemeteries and you try to find out where people are at, like if you ever wonder how you find some of the graves that we find, most of it is on Find a Grave, and that is pretty much volunteer run. As I go to cemeteries, I do try to add photos that are requested by people. A lot of times they want to see the graves of their family members. So that's what I do when I'm at cemeteries to film videos. That's usually what I'm actually doing here. But I really enjoy sharing the history of these places with you. John D. Small, Confederate flag there too, 1841 to 1921. It's not bad, 80 years old. Corporal Thomas A. Austin, Confederate States of America, 1846 to 1932. And Joseph A. Reynolds. And what do you think of classic tombstones? Our darling Ida, daughter of H.L. and I.L. Reynolds, died October 31st, 1896, 8 months and 26 days. Things would have been a lot more difficult back then without the advances in modern medicine. A lot of people it wouldn't be uncommon for people to have 6, 7, 8 kids and have only one live to adulthood. William Oliver Massey, 1837 to 1919. The world would have been a much different place back then. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have running water and toilets and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like people had a little bit more respectability, I guess is the word I'm looking for back then. And over here, I believe, is Yep, here he is. Robert Bullock. He was a brigadier general in the Civil War, 1828 to 1905. Lived not too far outside of Ocala. 7th Florida Infantry, Army of the Confederate States of America. Inscribed by the Marion Dragoons, Chapter 2311, Florida Division, United Daughters of the Confederacy, April 23rd, 1977. You have the Confederate flag there, and the Confederate States of America medal there. Some pretty incredible history. As you can see, things do get pretty weathered here. The cemetery's been around for a long, long time. You gotta be careful not to get bit by snakes or anything else around here. John F. Dunn. You just never know what you're going to find in places like this. But that's part of the fascination of exploring cemeteries. For a while, I thought that I was the only one weird enough to do this. Then YouTube came around and I thought, hey, I'm not alone. Other people enjoy the history, and kind of trying to figure out what people did with their lives, especially back in the day. But you always want to be respectful when you visit places like this. Every once in a while when I do this, I will stop to take a picture, so please bear with me. Sometimes I take pictures just because a spot is beautiful. Sometimes it'll be for Find a Grave. Now the nice thing about this is if you, let's say you have a loved one that, whether you've met them or not, or if you're curious about looking into your ancestral history, let's say you live in California and somebody in your family is buried in Florida, and for whatever reason you can't make it there, or you've never been, you just want to see what their grave marker looks like. People in Florida that visit cemeteries can post pictures of that grave so that anybody in the world can see it. It's a pretty great thing. Looks like some fencing down here. It's a little bit loose. In memory of Joseph Waldo, 1845 to 1873. He's got some nice tropical plants by him. The Waldo family plot. Guess the age-old question of where's Waldo? Looks like I found him. Found a few of them. Try to back up and get back out of here without getting bit by anything. Now, the last cemetery I explored down here in Central Florida, I'm not recording the entire time I'm here, but once I shut the camera off, I was going around adding some pictures, and there was a giant black snake that kind of slithered up on me, and it scared the crap out of me. And I did some research, and it was a black rat snake, which I guess are not poisonous or anything, but it was long, and being the only one out here, it startled me. Because you don't always know what snakes are going to be poisonous and which ones aren't. or which ones, I mean, anything could attack you at any given time, I suppose. But it's kind of a scary thing. It really creeps you out when you're not expecting it. And you look down and there's a snake smiling at you. Looks like this one fell apart a little bit. Mary W. Wallace, wife of S.A. Jeffords. Born 1860, died 1884. 24 years, 5 months, and 4 days. Sarah R.M. Mills, wife of Ulrich Reddick, born 1815 to 1892, 76 years old. It's pretty good. This looks like Aiden Waterman. Sometimes it's easier to tell on camera than it is when you're actually outside. Moss Bluff, moved 1967. It kind of makes you wonder when people's final resting places are disturbed, like when people are exhumed and moved somewhere else. Kind of makes you wonder if they are resting in peace, or, you know, depending on if you believe in the spirits. But that's a whole different conversation. Some people believe in it, some people don't. Personally, I tend to believe it. But I've had many people argue with me over that. But everybody has their own opinion. That's the good thing about being an individual. Everyone can have their own opinion, and nobody's right or wrong. Okay, this fence has definitely seen its better days. Pretty tall palm there. And if you are newer to the channel, welcome. And thank you for being here. And especially thank you if you've been here for a while. But the history of cemeteries is really, it's really interesting. You know, we do visit celebrity graves when we can, presidential graves. Those are probably my favorite. Someday I'd like to visit them all. I think I'm at about 10 now. Here is the Gore family plot. Looks like a few of them were Civil War veterans. We have to check this one out over here too. Let's try to see what that says here. James Hazel, I believe it says, 1833 to 1888. Another Civil War veteran. But just look at the landscape over here. Those of you that have been on the channel for a while know that last year I was living in Illinois. We checked out a lot of places in the Chicago area. And my work does take me traveling here and there. So we've done things in California, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Iowa, Minnesota, a little bit everywhere. Hopefully next year we'll go to some brand new places and I can show you some new cemeteries, more famous graves, more interesting things, and hopefully you learn a little something from these videos, take away a little bit of history with you. But that's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much all there is for now. Got tongue-tied there for a second. This is, these videos are unedited, as you can see, so any mistakes that there are, if I trip and fall in a hole or get chased by a beaver or anything like that, you'll be with me when it happens. So, thanks so much for watching today, and we will catch you at the next cemetery. Take care, everybody.